And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host, Ray. With me as always, we have Shining Wolf.
What's goody?
We also have D Wolf.
Yo, greetings.
Oh shoot, we got a Sonic coin. And as always, we have the lovely Crystal.
Hola,
How's everybody doing today?
bien.
Grand.
Doing okay.
All right. So without further without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the topics. And the first one, I know we wanted to talk about it last week, so I brought it up to this week. How do y'all feel about Shaquella Robinson not getting the justice that she deserves to get? Let's
Hmm.
start with that.
All right, so I'll go first.
Yeah, ladies first.
So I personally, I feel like it's a big fuck you from the USA when it comes to the importance of uh, making sure that people who travel who are of a different race is covered. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's too many situations where we would see, even in our own country right now, if a black child goes missing, it's not much hands on finding that child or man or woman that's of, you know, African American race versus a different complexion, which is Caucasian, Asian, or whatever. I feel like it's displayed now internationally. And her not being her friends not her so-called friends being not being charged for the murder of her is really interesting because everything points to that they did it. So I don't really see what the issue is. And they didn't say like Mexico is in charge of the case fully. They said that the US is not going to press charges. So I don't know if it's a second case that's going to come across where it's going to be taking place officially with, you know, the Mexican court system. But as of right now, I just feel like they're not really giving a fuck about the case. It's a joke to them at this point.
Yo, they have all the energy in the world to fucking spy on you and shit for saying the wrong thing, but they can't handle a couple of so-called friends who had holes in their story. So they're just done. Okay.
I think, and I hate to put it like this, but it does show this. Don't care about black women. This is like showing people that they don't care about black women, especially when traveling overseas, because this should have been an open and shut case. Everything was there. The evidence was there. So I don't know how the fuck you just dismiss it off of lack of evidence when they had her on camera in a fight that she wasn't fighting back and like her friend was beating her up. So
Straight up murder. Yo. How do you not pursue? That's yeah. Oh,
it was like, so I this is one of a few things where I've seen everything is just like handed to you on a silver platter, and yet you don't do shit about it. So it's just something that should have been an open and shut case. Now the family's not going to get the justice it deserves. So that's what I really feel sorry for. I feel sorry for the family.
yeah.
So you just come to a conclusion, Raymond, that they don't care about black people in these other countries.
Yeah.
This is a song as old as time, sir. Older than Beauty and the Beast.
Hmm. we,
This song is old as time, and whatever she said after that,
So
they've been on this tip for the longest.
My bad,
Especially
Clarence. Say that
unless
one more
you,
time.
I said they've been on this tip for the longest. Unless you're in the military or something, They don't give a shit about you. If you go to another country, they'll totally fuck you over.
Oh no, even in the military, they don't give a shit about you. They let us know that for sure. So and so as someone who's been in the military, if you do something bad, they're not going to come get you. They've already let people know that.
So I wonder if we're boycotting.
That's a real question. That's like, but what do we boycott?
Going to wherever that was in Mexico.
I think it was in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really think they care.
They don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna be
I
honest with
mean,
you.
unless there's a big fat policeman at the door,
Oh, I remember that
like
game.
by the collar. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
But but in all serious, that woman should get justice um for for the bullshit that she had to go through, especially like for the so-called friends. So just so you know, I guess the more of the story, know who you're traveling with, and and your friend doesn't want to fight, you shouldn't be forcing them to fight. I've I'm gonna just keep it at that. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
yes. As a woman who likes to seek justice herself, because obviously, as you can see time and time again, the system is trash. And a lot of people would say, if the system is trash, then move. But no, I'm okay here. But anyway, just saying, have a lot of money, know a lot of people, because you never want to owe anybody anything at the end of the fucking day. If you have a family member that is going overseas, make sure she or you or yourself have networked enough to make sure that you know who is in that country and what resources you can gain and get to ASAP, because your life will be a joke to the country you live in, and you know what country I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it. I already said it already, but I'm just saying, make sure you have your own resources, because time and time again, just like Katrina, you are very dispensable. There is insurances on all of us, whether we like to research it or not. You are dispensable.
Also, do not leave your wallet in El Segundo to drop off.
Look at the name. Why would I? What would Gundo? That's all. That's all I need to know.
No,
Father
crazy.
done into
You
the
want to
chat.
know
How you
what is
doing,
so
Father?
fucking crazy? I had the stream up. I just never clicked join meeting, and I just noticed.
Long day.
Crystal, I want to cry. Let me tell you something. We as human beings, we are not meant to work 9 to 5 for 5 days a week. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say to try to
Or
rationalize
not.
this bullshit. But this is not the way human beings are supposed to live. That's why everybody in America is so fucking miserable, because they always fucking working.
No, they're not saving enough.
I mean, yeah, that's true too. That's true too. That's definitely true.
We
I'm
have
just
to
saying.
literally buy ourselves out of slavery, and everybody think when I speak it's a joke. We literally have to buy ourselves out of slavery. Even the AI machine basically did like a semi off button on itself because it was overworked. Think about that. That's a fucking
I
machine.
saw that. I saw that. That was it.
Nigga,
Them the people that's supposed to
if that
protect.
ain't the sign, they trying to send you to hell.
So that shit, people talking about they having
What
machines
color was
replace
the
us. I was
machine?
like, machines need a break too. Shit.
Yo, that machine just plopped. It just said.
What color
Said
was the
fuck it.
machine?
The
It was
machine said, "Fuck it, I quit." The machine said,
it was a high yellow.
"Oh,
Not the AI catching the attitude.
It didn't throw his hands up. I swore I could have swore it threw his hands up and said fuck it. And then just
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Said fuck this shit. I'm out.
I'm out, bro. Damn. Yeah, it's every day. Y'all don't get tired?
Yo, you're not gonna tell the robot to man up?
Man up. I wish a motherfucker would. I smack the shit out you.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. I said you go to one of those concerned motherfuckers. They're gonna tell you to man up. This is what a
Yeah,
man is
yeah.
supposed to do. He's supposed to work 40, not 40. They're gonna
You
say
want
like something like 60 hours a week.
now you want to know
Yeah.
what I say to that? If you want to destroy America, just vote Republican. They'll do it for you for free. That's why Russia interfered with they wanted US to get destroyed. So they interfered with the election and Trump got elected. You think it was a coincidence? He was like, bro, I'm trying to get y'all out the fucking paint. And that's the man to do it. Because he's what? Republican.
Shoot. Uh, I don't know if you was hearing, but we was talking about Shinquella Robson. Do you want to give your thoughts before we move
Oh
on?
my God, bro. Just because I remember when we was talking about that and we were literally all disgusted that this beautiful black woman who's just going to vacation with her friends ends up dead. And not only that, she was in the company of her so-called friends. That shit, bro. I remember that day. We were all fucking pissed off because it's like, yo, if you can't go out with your friends coming out alive, and then not only that, you're in a foreign country, so you know that they're not going to have they're not going to put in the full resources to investigate it unless the US intervenes or whatever. So it's like the fact that they're not going further with it. I'm like, yo, y'all failed this woman, y'all failed her family, and not only that, you failed in every single black woman because you're basically telling them if you get killed in a foreign country, kick rocks. That's kind of like the energy that I'm getting from this. But at the same time, like it's probably some stuff that they can't really, you know, it's probably some stuff that they're not telling us. It's probably some stuff that, is probably too like complicated to explain in a way that everybody can understand on a cohesive level. I don't know. Maybe I'm making excuses for them, maybe not. But all I know is this is like she deserves justice. This woman literally died because her fuck ass friends betrayed her. You know what I mean? So, like everything has already been kind of laid out. We already knew, like, bro, Twitter did more investigation than these motherfuckers. You know
Real
what I'm
talk.
saying? And you want to know what's so crazy about that? It was the same thing for that one woman. What was that? What was that girl's name? The one that got killed in a train by that white supremacist. I forgot her name. She was a young girl too. I'm trying to remember her name. She like got killed in a train. It was like back in I want to say 2018.
Oh damn.
Damn, that's how you know there's a lot of stories about.
Yeah, it's a lot of stories. Bro, I really wish I could remember her name. I think it started with an N, but I can't remember it now. But yeah, it's just like our sisters dying, and then it's like they don't care, bro. It's like no one really takes the time to really investigate why our women, like get into certain situations and then they don't come out alive, and it's just like, oh well. It's so sad, bro. It's so fucking sad. So my condolences to the family. I hope that one day this case gets reopened in some capacity and some form of justice is found. But yeah, I'm so tired of this shit.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your words. On to our next topic. Let's. I guess we could stay on stuff like this. How do y'all feel about the Ralph situation that happened?
Disgusted.
It was that
I'm just
What's
anybody
I'm
want
just
to?
situation?
glad I'm just glad he's still here first and foremost. Let's acknowledge the fact that our young brother is still with us. He didn't pass away. He
Yeah.
fought. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He's still here with us. And another thing that I also want to say is that, bro, we're getting to a time where these shootings are happening back to back to back to back to back, bro. You know what
Cheerleaders.
I'm saying? Just the last in the week alone, bro, it's just nothing but fucking shootings. And at this particular point in time, like I don't even really think we need to say anything else. The reality is right there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what else can we say at this point? What else is there to say? What haven't we said?
Right.
I'm like, what
Mhm.
haven't we said, bro?
Hell, half of the times we done predicted shit on this damn podcast.
Bro, not even predict, nigga. Spoiler alert.
Like Paul Heyman.
Like
This is not
Paul
a
Heyman.
prediction. It's not
It's
a
a
prediction, it's a
spoiler.
spoiler.
So when the next fucking elementary school shooting happens, I don't, bro. It's not, and I don't even want to say like I don't care because that's inhumane. I never want to say I don't care, but
Mhm.
at a certain point, you get numb. And the fact that we're like, I feel like there's a lot of people this we're numb to this shit now because it's just every day at this fucking point, and it just seems like no one wants to solve it because people want to fucking tout that Second Amendment every single time we want to have a conversation about who exactly is like mentally sane enough to be owning these weapons. You feeling what I'm saying? So it's like, or why these weapons are so easily accessible with people with a population that is perpetually distracted and don't understand mental health in the capacity that they're supposed to in the first place because they're so perpetually distracted. Niggas will fucking watch 100 fucking twerking videos on Instagram, but if you ask them to read a book about about cognitive dissonance and its effect on like the human brain, they're gonna look at you like you motherfucking crazy. But that would be something that would help out everybody. So at this particular point in time, they doing it to themselves, and there's nothing I can really do about it. There's nothing else to say. At this point, it's action. You need to go to your legislators and be like, yo, like, do you like having blood on your hands? Like straight up.
Hmm.
Shit.
You can also you can also think of it in this perspective. Um, First of all, what's the circumstance with this one? I don't know about this shooting.
Okay, so here's
Oh,
what happened,
Lord.
right? I got it. So here's what happened. So the kid's name is Ralph Yarl. I think I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. And he so what he wanted to do was he was essentially trying to pick up his brothers from like was it a neighbor's house or it was
Yeah,
like
from a
some
neighbor's
place. Yeah, from a
house.
neighbor's house. So he knocks on the wrong door. He gets the wrong door. And not even like just immediately dude just blasts him in the fucking head, shoots him in the head, and then double taps. So he gets shot in the head twice. He literally gets shot in the head twice because he just so happened to knock on the wrong door trying to pick up his little brothers.
Hmm.
And the
So you
man
had
that
one of
shot him
those.
was an 80-year-old man.
Damn. So you had one of those get off my lawn type of motherfuckers, huh?
Yeah,
He
and but
did
Basically,
not to come back, right? While he was bleeding profusely to go back to his own car. Didn't that motherfucker say to that little boy, "Don't come back here again"?
yes, he did
yeah.
say that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm-mm.
So he
And
knew what
y'all want
the fuck he was
and
doing. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, he wanted to kill that child.
and y'all wonder why that old lady got slammed at Popeyes. You know, old people be asking for it.
You know,
I'm not even trying to be funny.
Yo,
I'm not even trying to be funny, but yeah.
no, I made a video on that shit too, and I'm like, talk shit, get hit. I'm like, bro, these people sitting there talking about, man, she's an old lady, man. Why you gotta react like that? It's just a word. And then I'm like, just shut the fuck up. Y'all kill me with that stupid shit. It's just a word. Okay.
hmm.
Is you're gonna. I think it's gonna be, and I think this our next topic we'll talk about probably going to predict it, but it's gonna be a point where people, and I keep saying this, people stop giving a fuck, as somebody's gonna get hurt to a point where laws are going to change, in my opinion. So I'm sa- I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm not saying this, but these young kids, they're really not having it. And like if the And it's happening. The sad part is it's happening to nice kids. It's not even happening to like troublemakers or
Mhm.
like people doing the dumb stuff. It's happening to kids just doing regular things. That's what's really sad. It's just like they're doing regular things like picking up their kids or walking to school or just like minding their own business and some shit, like, and they're just getting shot. Or the boy that was playing in the park and the cops just came up and shot him.
Hmm.
What was his name?
Was it the boy that was playing with a truck or some
He was playing with a toy gun. He was playing
yeah,
with a toy gun.
a bright color? So people was like, "How could you mistake that for a gun?" Like
Yeah, and
questions.
the, and the cops didn't even make a full fucking stop before they shot the kid.
Mm.
Yeah, I yeah, and I remember people was trying to justify the cops for that and stuff, shit like that. I'm like,
People will justify anything to fit their agenda. Pretty
but
much.
it don't fucking make sense. At some point, you
It
gotta
don't
be
matter. They're
like,
gonna try it anyway.
but it's,
It don't have to make sense to
How
them.
do you
They
defend
just
that
gonna.
though? How the
I,
fuck do you?
it's
They
not
will
even that
try.
one. It like you right, Clarence, but like for some reason that still makes me mad because that one, and I know I've said this story before, but y'all remember the guy that was trying to stop the cops from shooting a special needs child, and he fucking put his hands up in the middle of the fucking street, and he was saying like, and he's saying he doesn't have a weapon. The kid doesn't have a weapon. He's just a special needs child, and he motherfucker laid in the fucking street with his hands up, and the cops shot him anyway.
I remember that shit, and I was like, why?
And yeah, and they asked the cops, "Why did you shoot him?" And they was like, "I don't know."
They
No,
don't know.
That was the little answer. And I remember some dude was trying to justify that. I said, "What the fuck was there to justify?"
every time
Even the cop don't know.
every time I hear these stories, it's just I'm in Gotham mode. So everybody's talking about we don't know why they're doing things, and I'm here plotting because enough is enough. At the end of the fucking day, why is there why did it take so long for a man that shot a child straight in his fucking head to get arrested? Why did people have to go online and say spread the information? Shouldn't he have been arrested today?
I was about to ask, is the old man locked up?
Now he
I
is.
yeah, now he is.
Why did it take so long?
Complexion for the protection.
Lord Jesus.
And also,
Lord Jesus.
one thing that you also have to understand too about cases like this is every single time like we want to have these discussions, there's another discussion that goes on about, man, why y'all making it a race thing? Man, this that woke shit all over again. Like this is what people are talking about. They're not talking about the fact that a fucking 60-year-old boy was shot in the head like 2 times. You feel what I'm saying? Even there were some people that were talking about, oh, he a Liberian immigrant, and I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? You feel what I'm saying? You got people talking about they was looking at his aunt because his aunt was on TikTok, right? And she was talking about like the shooting of her nephew, but then people would like overlook that in order to expose her and her white husband making TikToks, and I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck about that shit.
What the fuck does that got to do with anything?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if she's married. I don't give a fuck she's married to a white dude.
Look,
A 16-year-old boy was shot. Focus. You know what I'm saying? Like, but and you know what? At the same time, though, it's like, bro, but it's also a miracle too because he was shot in the head and now he's at home.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for that. And also, real quick, I just want to say shout out to Black Americans, man, because Black Americans like they ride for their brothers and sisters, and I really fucking saw that when this shit happened. The way they donated money, that boy got $3 million. And
Right.
then on top of that, every single one of his classmates at the school he went to walked out.
Yeah.
Everybody in that school walked out.
That's
So
dope.
like, yeah, so
Kudos for sticking together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like we're seeing a lot of changes here. And
Mhm.
here's one thing I also want to say, like with every generation it does get better. You feeling what I'm saying? Because especially now that like white kids get to go to school with black kids and they get to
Right.
see exactly the bullshit that the black kids get to have to experience to this day, because the system is still going to prioritize a certain group of people. But
Mm.
when you put those kids in proximity with others that are struggling, and then they get to see firsthand what they're going through, and then not only on top of that, but like these are friends, you know what I'm saying? They end up becoming friends. They end up, experiencing the same cultures together, right? Because it's an integrated thing. So you do get to see a shift in perspectives when it comes with every subsequent generation. The issue, though, that we have to see now is exactly how these kids are being educated. Because right now, Gen Z, they're just using TikTok and they're just debunking all the shit that they try to lie in them. You can't lie to Gen Z. You literally can't lie to them, bro. They will find out the truth and they will look at you and be like, well, yo, why the fuck are you lying?
They're
Like,
called Gen Z for a reason.
yeah, like bro, they are not the type to get miseducated because they've mastered, the internet. Now with this advent of like artificial intelligence, it's even easier to get the truth now. So you're
Mhm.
not gonna bamboozle these kids, bro. They know what the fuck it is. You think like you were able to bamboozle everyone else because you controlled the narrative, you controlled the media. But now that the media control has been desensitized, and now people are actually looking at information for what it is instead of listening to a fucking particular source like them boomers like to do whenever they fucking flock around to watch Tucker Carlson babble 24/7 about shit that nobody really motherfucking cares about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I don't give a fuck if you watch like Fox News or CNN. You're getting miseducated either way. So it's like Gen Z, they're not with that shit anymore. Like your miseducation is not gonna stick around like it used to.
I
And
just
God bless
I,
them for it.
I just want people who do listen to this podcast don't think that we're just beating up on Caucasian people. To be honest, we're looking at the statistics. So as of right now, when it comes to even the medical field, and I've said it plenty of times, the Black woman is more likely to lose her life giving birth, something that should be very simplistic and handled with kids' gloves, but it's not. In fact, um, in the medical field, when it comes to the Black man and Black woman, we are told that they think that we can tolerate pain at a higher rate. So if a Black woman is in the hospital asking for pain medication, they will look at her like she's just a drug addict. You get what I'm saying? She
Yeah.
won't pain medication that she needs, especially after giving birth, because they're afraid she might be addicted to it, right? Then we have the school system. Who's more likely to get suspended? Statistically, and it has been proven even in pre-K, even in kindergarten and daycare centers, the Black boy and the Black little girl are quick to get suspended. Okay, no behavioral analyst is going to come in and analyze them. They're going to be kicked out. Okay, we also have kid people who are kidnapped for their organs. Who do you think is highly kidnapped and no one is looking for them? Yes.
It's definitely
Black
little black
women.
girls.
Not only, yeah, little Black girls and Black women between the ages of 18 to 30, because their organs is in tip top shape and they can give birth. So they have places in America as we speak holding women hostage to give birth. And when they're not having a social security or a birth certificate for that child, what do you think's happening to that child?
Mm.
But
Mm-mm-mm.
fucking talk about that. Okay. And the last thing that we have here is who is most likely to be looked for when a child is kidnapped?
Oh,
Right.
Lil Susie, Lil Lindsay,
Right.
Lil,
So it's not,
Little, little Georgie.
we're
yeah.
looking, we're
Hello, Becky.
definitely,
What you doing here?
yeah, we're definitely not being I guess biased. We're looking at the statistics, we're seeing who's getting laws in their favor, and right now it's looking really bad. So a little boy being shot in his head, I have yet to see that happen with the Caucasian child. I have yet to see a Caucasian child be hanged from a tree or be, taken for their organs. I don't see news reports lately of a white boy child being shot in the head and being told not to come back here. I don't see a white woman being in another country and being basically killed and murdered, and no one's really doing the research to see what happened. We know everything during the first day that she's overseas in Sudan and all those different places. Especially if they are a volunteer in the Mormon religion. It's serious. And, when people don't want to teach Malcolm X in schools, I understand why.
And speaking on statistics, well, see, this is why we can't let we can't have these politics distracting us from the issues at hand with the whole two-way argument and things of that nature. We should be sticking with with the who and the why. You understand? Because this is what perpetrates this. This is what continues the divide. Because statistically, these mass shootings, when it comes to like gun violence in America, the numbers is about 30,000 a year, around that number, right? And I think it's between 12 and 16,000 for gun suicides. All right, this is gun violence. But what they don't talk about is when lives are saved in those situations where a gun is involved. Shooting or no shooting, when a gun is involved, those numbers totally outweigh what we see. And this is where they want to give you an emotional response, because the numbers for lives saved with firearms, saying a woman's about to get raped, she pulls out the gun, doesn't even have to fire a shot. The person leaves. Somebody walks up into the store with a gun, probably doesn't have a bullet in it, but walks up in the store, owner pulls it out, doesn't even have to fire a shot, runs out, he leaves. All these situations and things I've seen like marathons of videos on these things. Like they never show this shit. They never show this shit. On average, it's between 300,000 and 1 million where guns save lives. That totally outweighs what happens and what we see and what they throw in our faces all the time. Like, no, so we're not discussing, is this racist? Was this supposed to happen? Was there something behind this? And we're not discussing any of that. We're discussing, well, if this person have the gun, this is gonna be like, no, because no. That's not gonna solve anything. Because really and truly, the guns, like, they ain't going nowhere. All right. Because if it ain't a gun, it's gonna be something else. Mm-hmm. Somebody's either gonna think of some crazy contraption, or they're gonna use what they can. Path of least resistance. They're gonna find something. It's like when the UK, when they took away the guns, what they use now, it's gun. Now their violence is knife violence equaling our gun violence. So that means they're all violent just the same anyway. It doesn't matter. I just want to focus on why this had to happen.
Well,
and what was used, why this had to happen to this young man.
But think about the areas that they do have guns and it's less of this kind of shit.
Say that again?
That is true.
The areas where people can open carry at will, it's less mass shootings. The places that have the highest mass shootings is the ones that are highly restricted without guns.
Well, I
feel least resistance.
Yeah, I feel like the reason for that, though, is the places that have open carry, the people there know what the gun is. You feel what I'm saying? I said this last time. Like, it's about your consciousness. Like, If you know in an open carry state, I'm assuming everybody there knows like how dangerous a motherfucking gun is. So they know that because they get to open carry it, it
Right.
means they're only going to use it in very specific and particular circumstances, right? And not only that, you can also guarantee or you can also tell they've been trained on how to use the gun because if they're open carrying, they're not trying to they're not trying to be in a situation where they have to use it. It's only for self-defense. They only carrying it with them in case their life is in danger. So they understand that, right? But
Mhm.
like in a place that's less restrictive, they're not educating that. You feeling what I'm saying? Guns in a really restrictive space, especially in a place especially at a place where like, bro, you look at video games, guns. You look at cartoons, guns. You look at TV shows, guns. You look at movies, guns. And you see people going gung ho and shit like that. Like, look at how we glorify the gun in our culture. So in a lot of those restrictive spaces, as soon as a motherfucker get a gun, like, of course what are they gonna do? They're gonna do exactly what what they have been shown.
Right,
Whenever
because
you have an issue, pull it out.
but there it's kind of like taboo. Okay, so in the Caribbean world, right?
Mhm.
I grew up in a house full of rums and wines and different alcoholic beverages. Because I was introduced, because I've seen my family drink it, it's not a big deal to us.
Right.
You know, I've never wanted to like run and get drunk at a party and something like that because I've been around it my whole life. It's not a taboo for me to sip on some rum. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's not like I want to indulge myself. In the Caribbean, especially during popover is what we call it. Y'all call it something else. But we see naked people. What they would consider naked, at least in the USA, seeing naked people is not taboo for me. I've seen it. Big deal. Big whoop. You know what I mean? But here they glorify,
Bacchanal.
they glorify anything that's taboo for them. So yes, guns in certain areas of America is such a glorified thing because they're not educated about it and they're not around it enough in a healthy non-toxic environment to understand how dangerous a gun is. The minute they have a gun, they think they're powerful and they shoot innocent people. And I don't know what was going on with the old man, but to know that he thinks he's so paranoid that he opens the door and shoot a little boy in his face, it means that he lays his power in that fucking gun and not in the responsibility of having such a deadly fucking weapon. His power as an 80-year-old Caucasian man was in that gun and he used it on a little boy because of his racist side. I don't care what anyone says. He hasn't been proven racist, but for you to look at a boy that you supposedly never seen before and shoot him in the face and say, "Don't come back here." You've seen that boy plenty of times, and your paranoid got over you, and your ego played a big part in holding that big metal gun. He'd even open the door. He shot through the fucking door. We need to be educated.
Yeah.
Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
I'm just glad the brother's alive with us. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad that I also hope that it doesn't turn into a situation where he has complications in the future because of this incident, because that would also be very unfortunate. This young man deserves a full life ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad that, people came out and they donated and they really made a difference in this young man's life after experiencing something so traumatic. And it just goes to show you they don't give a fuck what type of Negro you are. You can be African, you can be Caribbean, you can be Black American, you can be Southern American. They don't care what type of black you are. They will shoot you and not fucking care. Because it's not about your ethnicity, it's about your color.
All right. And speaking of the younger generations, how y'all feel about this Chicago riots that's been happening? I think for the past couple days.
Are those the videos I've been seeing of like a whole bunch of teenagers like wilding out in the streets?
Yes, it's been happening in Chicago, of all places.
For what happened?
Yeah, like what are the details exactly? Like, are they beating up and doing this shit, or like?
They was actually them meeting up and
On
doing it.
purpose?
They okay. Yeah. I got something from the New York Post. Hold on, let me pull it up. That way.
Yeah, because I definitely need a lot more context. Because like I've seen like a few clips, but like I haven't really.
Okay. This is from the New York Post. um, First teams wrecked a $120,000 Tesla, and police reported some were engaging in reckless and disruptive behavior. The riot soon escalated, and of course, gunfire erupted, striking two boys in stable condition. Um, 15 people, 9 adults, 6 juveniles were arrested late Saturday while hundreds and possibly thousands gathered near Millennium Park proceeded to run through Chicago's downtown, leaving a trail of violence and destruction.
Hmm.
A similar situation happened 34th Street Beach, where a 14-year-old was shot during a large gathering
Mm-mm-mm.
billed as a teen trend meetup. Many are under false impression that a regular discussion of violent crime playing in America's greatest cities by media outlets. Um, I think it's like kids meeting, teenagers meeting up, and they just like just wilding out from what it seems.
Who could possibly be worse than Lightfoot's? Who's running that city now?
So what?
Uh,
Sorry.
Chicago Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson.
I
So
gotta
that's your
look this
answer.
person up, yo.
So would they be considered like a terrorist group?
I don't know, but it's funny because there's articles about the mayor. He's kind of giving it an excuse. He's like,
What? Wait. Okay, I'm done.
it's right here. In no way do I condone the destructive activity we saw in the loop of lakefront this weekend, and is unacceptable and has no place in our city. However, it is not constructed to demonize youth who have otherwise been starved of opportunities in their own communities.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those are his words. Not once did he mention law and order or reveal the punishment for the
Okay.
behavior. Not once did he show us
Right?
he will be tough on crime mayor in a city that desperately needs it. Two more teens were shot in the incoming mayor, and the incoming mayor excuses violence. His implications: these kids didn't have a choice; they're victims of their environment.
They're Okay.
Yo, son.
If that's not the
This is
greatest
a
form
quota hire.
if
Okay.
that's not the greatest form of gaslighting I ever fucking heard in my life.
Mm.
So what he's saying is that these kids are paid to do this shit. These kids are
I
fucking.
think he's trying to say these kids are products of their environments.
No. We're not gonna pull that fucking card.
We're not pulling that
Because
card.
Chicago, how many kids are dying and what color are they? By their own.
Black. They're black.
Oh yeah. So products of what environment? You mean products of themselves?
Mm.
What the fuck? I'm tired of this shit.
Son.
If I was a product of my environment, I would be on the news right now, but I'm not. So I call bullshit. Why is he giving a fucking excuse?
Because he doesn't want to solve the problem.
So people who work hard for their stores and their cars and their Teslas now have to deal with children who's a product of their environment. So we have to suffer because of that.
And you know, it also doesn't surprise me considering the history of Chicago. It's legitimately one of the most segregated cities in America. And they made it that way on fucking purpose. They always like to say, oh man, these things in Chicago. And I'm like, bro, the south side of Chicago was deliberately made by that, like that, by the fucking government and by the fucking city itself. They'll, like, bro, there was like, you remember how they were talking about like, fathers couldn't stay in the homes because of welfare, right? It was heavily enforced over there in Chicago. Chicago was one of the first places to implement that. That's why, like, there's that stereotype about a lot of the youth in Chicago not having fathers. You feeling what I'm saying? That's where that shit came from because, like, if the father was at the home, they didn't get the welfare check.
Oh
That,
yeah, I remember.
yeah, like it deliberately plays into the mama, baby daddy culture that permeates that area. And it also goes into why a lot of economic opportunities isn't found in the south side of Chicago. They got to move up there. But because of racism and because of the fact that these kids aren't given a legitimate chance because their parents have to work or because, like because like where they're at, there's no guidance. You feeling what I'm saying? Like the motherfucker that was over there talking about, oh man, they just doing this because they're products of their environment. He hasn't said anything about any type of solutions whatsoever. It's just, oh well,
I why though. It goes deeper, Fada. And I think if you downgrade the prices of the area because people are scared to buy up and they know it's a lot of shit going on, what happens to those buildings and that area? What do you
oh shit, yeah, they get run down.
They get run down and who fires them up?
That's very true.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's a smart man. Nobody's stupid. You're using black children who's a product of their environment to do your dirty work because you want to buy up that area. Buy up that
Mm.
area and you need to network to get rehired or reelected or whatever the fuck it is. Nobody's stupid. I know
Why do you
exactly
think
what
he's
he's
there?
doing.
Mhm.
Why do you think he's there, yo? I just saw him. Like, yo, he's a quota hire. He's there so people could be like, oh no, look, he's a black guy. He's
He,
got this,
you know what
and
he's talking about.
excuse everything because he's tight and he's put there. He didn't get that. He didn't earn that. He was put there. So whoever's pulling his strings can do exactly what y'all were just talking about.
I only
Right.
You understand? They see that, they excuse it, they see his color. He's always doing, oh, he's tough on crime. Yeah, whilst allowing this to happen. But he's doing what he's supposed to do. He just didn't win that battle. That's all. But you heard him. So he's
Mm.
all right. He's all right. And while on the other hand, he's pulling this other fucker under the nose. That's the reason he's there.
I
Because
noticed
these rights wouldn't be happening.
every black man in the schools that I've been to, that with the principal or the dean, they were very hard on us, and I respect that. That's showing love. But the ones that slacked and was laid back and always befriended the badass bully, thinking that they can relate to them and all that shit, they were doing shit on the side, and it's never failed. So why would I think that it's any different when it comes to politics?
Someone saying that this one article is basically saying they might have been better off with Lori Lightfoot.
By the
Yo.
way, I just want to say Lori Lightfoot is so unintentionally funny. I feel like if I was in a room with Lori Lightfoot, I just laugh for no motherfucking reason.
What the hell?
God.
No reason whatsoever. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Yo, I have to leave." Because I'm a fucking cry. It's too many memes. Like, bruh, I remember that one Halloween meme where they fucking dressed her up. Oh my god.
Mm.
Oh they be going in on her.
They did her dirty.
Nah, they be going in. I was even surprised she made mayor after all the slander she done. Like, yo, I don't think people take you seriously.
She was mayor for a while too.
Yeah, she was mayor for a while, but like I've never seen anyone on the internet like take her seriously. It's like every single time she's like, in the news for something, it's just memes. It's just memes. Like, especially the
And
one
she
where she
always
looked
looked
like a
like
little.
she's seen a ghost.
Yeah,
That's the funny part of it. She looked like she's seen a ghost.
she looked like she seen a ghost, or like she looked drunk.
Hey, Beetlejuice. That's my favorite.
Like, interesting.
Oh man, so I don't know. It looked like I guess the man doesn't have a real answer. If this is your answer, he doesn't have a real answer.
He
So what's going to stop them from keep doing it and keep it similar and keep just fucking shit up?
When a white person dies, that's when.
Oh, there's a video of some white girl getting beaten by the mob. So
Is she dead though?
She's not dead.
Okay then.
Touche, touche. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Anyone that talks about a product of their environment to make it as a basis to keep kids who are violent on the street need to be out of office ASAP.
Yeah, because especially if you are in like you can change that fucking environment if you really motherfucking wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You just sat there and watched these kids do that shit. You watched. Like, oh well, you know they did. Shut the fuck up.
Okay. On to our next topic. How do y'all feel about the shit that's happening to Jonathan Majors now? We thought we was done with this before. Then all of a sudden he comes into more bullshit.
Ray, we can't have shit.
We can't.
We can't have shit, man. Damn.
You know what's sad? Allegedly, he didn't do nothing. He did the right thing.
Bro, he's the one that called the cops, right?
He's the one that called the cops.
But so then who are these other women talking about they got assaulted by him? Because I posted that and I was like, yeah, because like I posted that and then I'm like, bruh. Now I'm not the type to like immediately believe the women or believe the men, you know what I'm saying? But like if someone tells me that they've been assaulted, the very first thing I'm gonna do is support that person. You feel what I'm saying? If they need any emotional support, if they need like anything that I can do to support that person from that accusation, I'm gonna do. But you know, to believe or not to believe, like I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh, you know, I'm taking sides or anything. I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm only going off what is being told. I'm only going off the information that I'm given. But it's like, bro, it's trial by fire, especially when it's word of mouth. So now you're gonna have a whole bunch of people looking at Jonathan Majors like he's actually an abuser when, yo, we really don't know the entire story. You feel what I'm saying? We saw Bill Cosby. There were a few of them that were there to lie, and they even admitted it in the books that they wrote. They even wrote it in the deposition. I remember you read it to me. You even fucking read it to me, Ray. Like, yeah. Some of them were there just to lie. So after that, I'm like, yo, you gotta.
There was even a video of one of them saying it. That one Italian-looking model one with dark hair.
I remember that video.
Janice Dickinson.
Yeah, she got the fake lips, real puffy lips. Yeah. That
and
one.
I'm like,
she was on
I
video,
looked at her, I looked at her and I'm like, I know Bill Cosby ain't smashed you. Get the fuck out of here.
I want to feel sorry for him. I'm angry at him, if anything, because what I'm tired of, especially, you know, Black actors going for is they get this particular woman.
Yep.
And they
bring it out.
And the thing is that a Black man should be able to date whoever the fuck he want to date. Okay? But it just comes over and over and over again up that if anything happens to these particular women, they're going to be blamed whether they are wrong or right. The contracts are being pulled from Jonathan Majors as we speak in droves, and nothing has came to conclusion. No court cases, nothing has been confirmed. But you see how they're treating him. I need men that is at his level of success to stop letting pussy destroy their whole career, because it takes away their integrity. When a man of his caliber is going for all these different movies, I would suggest don't date, or if you date, stick with a Black woman, because if you beat the shit out of her, nobody's going to report it, just like they do. Women that's just like, don't look for the women who are being organ trafficked and shit like that. You're safer than dealing with any other race when you're at a certain level in life. I know it's harsh to say. It's really fucked up what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, when Meg Thee Stallion said she was shot in the foot, everybody was questioning, did she really get shot in the foot? But this woman who recanted her fucking story, she'd even say that he hit her, from what I can tell. But She wanted to recant her story, and they're taking everything that she didn't say for facts and assumptions. And he's getting contracts taken from him. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Men need to stop letting pussy destroy their whole fucking life. It's getting ridiculous.
But it's
Yo,
so good. Not really.
I don't
Nah.
trust any like I said, yo. If they now start coming out, I don't trust any of them. They should have been like the moment he showed up, yo. They should have been like, "Oh, I know that guy. He did this to me, this and it." Day one. That's when I want to hear you. But if
But they
some
wolf, they won't believe me. They won't believe me.
fuck yo, come on, especially after Me Too. What's the excuse to not say anything now?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
come on, man. And like yo, he okay. If this is what he's accused of, is it? All I have to say is like, do you know what the rest of Hollywood is like, yo? Do you know what they do to each other? You know how much what? So if this is it, this is tame. So by if you compare the two, he's
By
still
Hollywood
innocent.
standards, yeah, this is tame.
Son. Ah,
Nigga, Pam Grill had cocaine up her vagina, and like,
yeah.
know what to do about it.
Richard Greer, what's his name? Richard Greer. He had a fucking gerbil up his. Come on, son.
He had a gerbil.
These people. All right. But you get into a spat with a dude and they want to take his money. Okay, yeah, I'm telling you, and yeah, they always go harder when you with a when the black actor's with a white person. They always go harder. If it ain't this, if it's just something, if it's any type of issue, even it's being seen fighting each other, something, they go hard on the black man. Yo, remember Michael B. Jordan? Just
Yep.
for being seen with a white girl, like they went crazy. What was it? Something? Michael Holt or something like that from Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Same
Oh,
thing. They
Michael
went
Cole.
after him. I'm
Michael
like,
Collier or something like that.
yeah, I'm like, son, it don't matter what it is. If you're seen, they don't like that. Yo,
Even if
they
they're
don't like that.
even if they're happy with the white woman, as long as you're a successful black man and that white woman says, "Okay, I want to divorce you. I'm gonna say you hit me," even if it hits you first, you literally your career is done, and that's not right. That is not right.
Cause yeah, you put in work for that. You feel what I'm saying? This is not
Yeah.
just like, bro, like he did Creed and he did a Marvel movie. And not only did he do a Marvel movie, but he's one of like the main baddies. You feel he's like a major fucking character. So you know that money's
And they're
long.
already talking about replacing him.
Yeah, and they're already talking about replacing him, even though there was another article that said there was no plans to replace him. So I'm like, what the fuck is going
Yes, because
on?
he represents a intelligent black man who's not a gangster. He look at his clothes. Does he dress
Yeah.
like Drake and all of them? No, he dresses like a man with standards and intelligence. How dare he do that? How
Yeah,
dare
and they be trying to come for him for that too. Remember, there was sitting there. There was a lot of people debating about whether he was like, fucking what was it? Like he was downplaying masculinity with that magazine cover that he was doing and shit like that. And I'm like, bro, y'all be worried about the wrong motherfucker.
Yo, I had to explain, like, yo, he's one of those artsy type. This is how actors. This is how they drip. Like straight up. I lived in LA for like how many? Like 10 years. This is how the artsy types. It has nothing to do with sexuality. I've seen straight ones dressed like that and gay ones. This has nothing. That's how they do.
Like it's expression.
Yeah, it's like bikers. They automatically have to wear the leather jackets. There's something in you that makes you like click with a certain type of thinking you have, and sometimes the outer attire represents that. I don't know why they have to go hard on that. Like, yo, I don't get it. Oh yeah, I wanted to say, yo, could you imagine if Tiger Woods wasn't half Asian? How that would have went down?
Oh, they'd have shot him.
Oh,
I still think they'd have shot him.
They would have been like, she should have hit him. She should have ran him over.
You should have run. They'd have probably helped him run over the car.
Oh god.
You know what's funny? Like Charlie Sheen's still like walking around, and no one stopped giving a fuck about him. And that
Yeah.
man literally has HIV.
Winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the tiger blood.
He's tiger blood.
I'm,
That's how I party. That's
I'm,
how I party.
I'm gonna need y'all to.
I, but I'm dead ass serious though. I was like, Charlie Sheen was like a story for like a week, but that was more or less of him saying winning in tiger blood, and not the fact that the nigga had HIV and we was having sex with him. But
Mm-mm.
okay, Jonathan Majors doesn't he is losing his fucking and losing his career credentials off of something that allegedly happened. So
Legit in summer, losing all of that over pussy. No, seriously,
well, that
fucked up. Like who? Okay, I'll shut up. I'm done.
I mean I guess that shows us two things: is one, can't trust the white women over there. Um, as one of the parody shits used to tell me, ain't no white bitches over here, Charlie Brown. Um,
White men don't even trust white women, so why would you?
Nigga, they had to.
We until black men are in the laws that could actually change for the bettering of himself and his seeds and so on in future generations. Unfortunately, he really has to protect himself by law, literally, by not dating when he's up in success.
Yeah, but at the same time, Crystal, like,
Mhm.
because I hear everything you're saying and I'm in total agreement. And I just want to add on to that. I feel like when it comes to black men dating out, I feel like when it comes to like the general consciousness of the world and just how they view people, because you know how people they don't view you based on like how you look, they base you on your status, right? How
Yeah.
much like what can you bring to the table? How much can you provide for this family? And if there ever comes a time where there's an opportunity that presents itself, are you going to be the type of person to be able to profit from that opportunity and shit like that? Like
Hmm.
when you factor all of that in, then the black man is really fucked because we have been disenfranchised for so long. But not only that, but we have not really done a good job in changing our narrative and changing our image. So when it comes to dating outside of our race, you'll have a whole bunch of races of people that are not going to take us seriously in the first place, right? So
Hmm.
if there's ever a time where they need us to do something and we're not able to deliver, or if there's ever a time where they feel like they need to protect themselves from whatever it may be, they get to weaponize the system against us exclusively, and it doesn't matter what color it is because um white women, of course, you know what I'm saying, but that's been a history of that. A white woman will shed a tear and a black man's getting lynched. You feeling what I'm saying? That was like the dynamic back then. So I just find it very, very, very interesting now. We are in 2023, and these actors and a lot of these athletes, like it's like they're not learning from history. As a matter of fact,
No, no, no.
because go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, like I'm sorry. So as I was saying, like, it's kind of like they're working backwards. You feel what I'm saying? It's like
Hmm.
that there's a particular history with the dynamic of this relationship. And not only that, but now you have a whole bunch of black women that look at you and know that you have some type of weakness about you because you can't even stand up for yourself to see that this system is against you no matter what, and the only other
Right.
person that can't use. I mean, they can. I mean, like black women can kind of use this system against you, but it's only if you are. But it's only in particular contexts, right? Like, for example, they're always gonna pull up on a black man no matter what. But in the terms of black women, they love it when black women call the cops on black men because now there's a 2 for 1. So
Mm.
now I know. So it's like this. I got a black body in jail, and now I have an informant. Now I have someone that I can manipulate because I'm gonna make you dependent on the system anyway,
Mhm.
right? So if there's ever a time where you need a Negro that's locked up, just call my phone and I'll come running.
Right.
That's the dynamic.
Yeah, pretty much. And the reason why, okay, look at Kanye. He was protected for so long, but the minute that, the Kardashians didn't want anything to do with him, look how much he lost in almost one day. And yes, he's crazy. But at the same time, I think a lot of men, when they do date outside their race, they are powerful for the moment because of their status and who they have married. But when they don't no longer want anything to do with the black man, that black man is looked upon as, how everybody wanted to look at him when he had not dated outside of his race yet. You get what I'm saying? So you're still
Yeah,
at square one, looked upon as if you're shit, which is not true. You're really a king. But you see, you wanted to have that facade. And it wasn't really about love. Most of the time when I see these men date outside their race, it's never about love, it's about status. And
hmm
then it's love, because you have no choice. But at the same time, what's sickening about this whole situation that I'm seeing from the outside looking in is it's not going to stop. If you want the black woman to really protect the black man, he has to be in a situation where the systems and laws work for the black woman so she can stop being the ops for the opposite team because she's not protected. So she has to protect herself.
bruh. And it, like, we see this, like, it's not lost on us, but again, it's that status. They have that inner desire to just prove everybody wrong and say that, oh, I'm the exception to the rule. And then I'm like, that's not how you win the battle. I don't give a fuck if you're the exception to the rule. We need to be the rule, nigga,
Right.
collectively.
Well, when you look at the black man and the black woman, the woman has two strikes against her while the man only has one. He's a man.
Mhm. Yeah.
A black woman, I'm a woman and I'm black,
Mhm.
already
Yeah.
has two strikes against me. I try not to use that as a victimization of the mind because then I'll go fucking insane. But at the same time, men have to look at the fact that they are a man. If they're of success like Jonathan Majors, to be truly honest, if you're a serious man that's looking for success and to own land and to change the narrative of your own culture, which is a big deal to have in, just all on you. You know what I mean? It's not fair, but it is what it is. Um, do not do not date, period. Whether it be black, white, Asian, I don't give a fuck. Get your shit together first. Make sure you stabilize your career and then date. Unfortunately, just like I said on the podcast, you know, previously, black women cannot afford to wear bonnets outside. In our home, in our comfort, fine. But if something serious happens and you're wearing that bonnet and you speak a certain accent, who the fuck is going to take you serious?
Mm. Any last words before we move on to our final topic?
Nah, not really.
Okay. How many of y'all are excited about the Lilo and Stitch live action movie that they're trying to make?
So if I could put my hype level on a 1 to 10, it's like at a -2. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not
Um,
excited for it at all.
really? Like, not even with the characters?
Ray, name one thing that they've announced about the movie that's exciting.
You mean whitewash? You mean whitewash? Nah, white. I can't even get it out. Whitewash Nani and
They also whitewashed another one too.
David. I think was it David?
Yeah, yeah, the her man.
Yeah, and
The actor doesn't look white to me.
Mr. Bubbles not being in it, even though
Oh
he
no,
was
he's
in
in it
it for
now. They
part of the
bullied him in
movie.
it. He's in it now. They
Are they
bullied. They
bullied him in
bullied.
it now?
Yeah, they
Because
bullied him in it. And
Ye
apparently,
interviewed.
the person who's gonna play him is Courtney Vance.
I was hoping it was Ving Rhames.
Bruh.
That dude that's playing the boyfriend look brown to me.
So here's the thing, right? He can look brown, but in Lilo
He
and
ain't
Stitch,
brown enough.
that nigga is brown. That nigga dark.
Huh.
That's also a cartoon though. Like how many like Hawaiians these days is like that dark though?
Oh no, you can find them. They're definitely out there, bro. They was in the thread naming a whole bunch of women that look like that, and that look like Nani, and that act.
Shit, you know how many cosplayers I done seen where
Bro,
like,
are you fucking kidding me?
yeah, they look just like Nami.
But do they
Look
have
like
to be
just
Hawaiian though? Like I don't think it's even necessary for them to be Hawaiian for real. They just gotta
Yeah,
look the
I
part.
mean, yeah, but like the woman that's playing her is Hawaiian, right? She is Hawaiian,
Yeah, I
but
know.
the main issue is the colorism aspect because again, whitewashing has been a thing. So if you have a character that has historically been darker skinned and you cast a lighter skinned person, that goes into that colorism aspect. You feel what I'm saying? And it's always going to be at the behest of women because women are the ones that were prized for their, for them being light skinned or being, dark.
Fair skin.
Yeah, that fair skin because it goes into the Eurocentric standard of beauty. The lighter, the better. This is why in South Korea they be bleaching like fucking crazy, even though they're pale as all hell
Yo,
already.
don't forget they're trying to appease China. They don't want darkies. I'm telling you, they don't want dark people in their movies. It's hard.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like when Black Panther came out, they only when they showed it, they only had him with the mask on. Like in America, he always had the mask off in the
Mhm.
posters. In
yeah.
China, he always had it on. If you watch any poster of a movie in China from America, they somehow like Photoshop the black character to either they erase them completely or they make him like very small, like in Star Wars, like Finn. They like in America, he was like his face was big, right? Just to let you know he's one of the main characters. But in China, they had him like a small little dot, like he was in a movie for a second or something.
I saw that.
Yeah. So
Kind of market
this is what they do.
is it a marketing tactic in their country? Because would you think they would want to see someone that's of a different complexion if it's not something that represents who they are as people or their
That's
culture?
why Will Smith was on the shit that he was because they told him that like that people in China they don't people like his complexion they don't really feel well in other countries and that's why like he went on the shit that he went on where he was just like oh no I'm gonna make them love me or some shit like that which was in my opinion that's one of the best things Will Smith ever did. He was like you're going to see my face fuck that so
And that's the thing. It's not really the people. It's it's like the CCP and all them people in charge of cinema because I'm sure that's government funded the movie
Okay.
the
Yeah,
movie
but then
industry in China. So
that's like a callback to history because if you look at the history of China, China is a place that destroys itself and then builds itself back up again. They have done this
it's
throughout.
doing it right
It's,
now
yeah, it's doing it right now.
Mhm.
So the thing that we have to understand about that whole dynamic is, of course, they're going to prioritize their ethnic group. And it's even funny I say that because there's a dominant ethnic group there, the Han Chinese. But if you go to China, there's so many different ethnic groups in China. You feel what I'm saying? And they speak different languages. So the CCP has a vested interest in making sure a particular the ideal Chinese person looks like this and speaks like that and shit like that. You feel what I'm
and
saying?
if you're Asian, make sure you're fair.
Yeah,
And
and then
okay,
make
they
sure
don't have to be a Chinese Asian. No, if you're
because we're
you
trying
have
to
to be
keep this
fair
shit as
skinned.
pure as possible.
Yeah.
Because in the case that China breaks again, we want it to be easy to get our shit back.
Hmm.
That's an interesting perspective you bring up though, because like it's like anybody who pay attention to entertainment, especially like the entertainment movie market, China does not. Disney and stuff, they're really trying real hard to appeal to China, and China does not like any dark skinned people in their stuff. And then a whole movie just filled with dark skinned people, yeah, they ain't really
I
gonna
was
be
about to
having
say
that in
how the
China.
fuck do they promote Black Panther
They
to
don't.
fucking
To China,
yeah
they probably just said they'll just take that loss on that movie.
That's what I'm saying. There's always some compromise. That's what I'm saying. Like, look at Little Mermaid. The parents aren't black. That's what, yo. That's what bothers. There's always some
Trident, Trident
compromise. There's
isn't black.
That
something,
from day
yo.
one. You said that for day one, D Wolf. So
Yeah.
you've been consistent on that.
Also said the prince wasn't gonna be black either.
He's
And
not. Plus they emasculate. I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it, but they changed the end. So I'm like, yo.
It just seems like a lot of these projects are only just to pander instead of just tell the fucking story. You feel what I'm saying?
It's like the pander. That's why
I said this once in one of my videos because someone said it, but I knew it to be true. I had a feeling it was true, but someone guessed it. I don't know if y'all know Tyrone Magnus on YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
yeah. Because he was like, but how could they keep doing this knowing? Like nobody's watching this shit anymore. Ever since this SJW shit started coming out, like Disney Plus numbers going down, everybody like, what's going on? So he was like, I think this is some sort of experiment. Yeah. And they're just being funded for it. But me, on the other hand, I already know that that's true, but it's not an experiment. This is just being done on purpose. I know for a fact that the CIA is working with Disney, so I already know that
they get money. They get money for putting in that like social justice shit in there.
Yeah, this is like compartmentalized, so it's not like everybody at Disney is doing this. All the writers, all the producers. No. These are not. They don't know about this. They're doing their thing. Some of them are even super creative. Some of them are falling for the fuckery and still working there. You know, but they have no idea what's going on. They just think, you know, they're making a movie, have no idea. They're being told, or somebody's passing this down the line from the top to the bottom to tell the producer, hey, can you just change this in the script? You know, to just make it sound organic so the writer could be all right with it. You know, slipping these things through to change up the script so things could come out the way they are right now. And we're like, yo, what are y'all doing?
I would just like movies and things that are going, I guess, live action to just stay the same. It's really not that fucking hard. People need to understand it's not even a race thing at this point. It's just we need to stick with whatever race they were when we were watching these same movies. Like, for instance, if I want to watch The Mermaid, it has nothing to do with the fact that the girl is black, white, or whatever, but I want to share the same experience that I watched the movie as a child with my daughters. And I can't experience that if they're of a different complexion or race. That's the only issue I have. Like, I want to share the same experience that I had as a child with my kids, but I can't do that unless it's the same way. It's kind of like cooking food. If I change one ingredient in the food, are they going to get the same flavor that I got as a kid? Am I going to be able to share an experience with them? Not really. They're going to have their own new experience, which is great. And we just might like that one better than the one I watched as a child. But at the same time, I feel like
has that ever happened to you though? Have you ever watched like a remake or a reboot and enjoyed it better than the original?
I have a fucking list. Let's start with the Ninja Turtles. Okay, they're on fucking. The Ninja Turtles I grew up with were not on drugs. I'm just keeping it real. Beauty and the Beast. What the fuck was that?
That's just so hold on. So you didn't like the new Beauty and the Beast, or you did?
Beauty and the Beast, the live action, I hated it.
No, a lot of people did. From what I heard.
The doll that came out, what the fuck was that? They had to recall the doll because it was so ugly. It did not look like Belle. And that was our complexion issue.
It's funny you say that, Crystal, because I made the same point. I'm like, yo, if you're making this for a new generation, wouldn't it be better if there was some type of continuity? If the characters look like the characters from back then so they can make those connections. But even not only that, because even when it comes to race swapping, fine, like, you know, it's in the direction of whatever, you know, director or, you know, because, you know, when it comes to certain character being race swap, like, if it's like a minor character, if it's like a character that, you know, The
Nobody
race isn't
knows.
important. Like the race isn't important for that character, then fine. You feel what I'm saying? Like Spider
Mhm.
Man, I didn't mind that Zendaya was playing Mary Jane. Like whatever, fine, cool. But but also at the same time, like if you know that people are going to be watching a certain product because it's a legacy thing, then bro, you would be making so much more money. You'd be making so much more clout if you just kept the characters, faithful to the original
Consistent.
adaptation. Yeah, just keeping it
Market
consistent.
consistent.
You know what I'm saying? So that people can identify their childhood with this instead of
Yeah.
just, "Oh, we're gonna make her black because black people said they want representation." So
Oh, can I say one thing?
go ahead, go ahead.
Does anyone here watch 227?
No,
Yeah, I've
unfortunately.
watched
Old
Yes.
shit
Center.
in the 80s. But let me tell you something. A lot of people are crying and yelling about the representation of Black people not being um, on, in TV and stuff. So I want to say, put it in places where it shouldn't be, like The Mermaid, in my opinion. Okay. But can we agree? Well, you guys haven't watched 227, but on 227, they have a
I
Black.
watched 227.
Yeah, it's an old 80s show that I still watch. But in 227, you have the husband who's named Lester. He owns a construction company, right? And the wife's best friend, Rose, she owns a building. But they talk about how, the representation of Black women or Black men wasn't represented in a way that kind of like represents ownership and power and stuff like that. And I'm seeing that in the 80s. And then the feminine side of Black women and the way that they just bond together. Like I saw an episode where some boy was tagging all the buildings. And one mom was like, I don't think you know what's going on with your son. And they talked about it and they had conversations. Like, where is that today?
Oh yeah, you're not gonna get that. And the
Right.
reason why you're not gonna get that is because
About a
they
mermaid
just
not being Black. You
yeah.
see, we're focusing on the wrong things. I just wanted to say that because I was like, okay, everybody's yelling and hooting and hollering. It's not Black this and Black that, but it shows back then that would put the shows we have today that have Black women in it fighting every fucking 5 minutes to shame.
Yeah.
But we're talking about
Shit,
a fucking mermaid. All right.
And the
We're
husband is
talking
an
shit.
adult.
Living single. It was like 4 Black successful women in
And the
each of their
husband and the
categories.
husbands
Like,
and the
Yeah,
husbands
we
get
need to bring
respected
that
too.
up.
yeah, Khadijah on the fucking newspaper, fucking magazine and shit.
Hmm?
And, like
So
shit.
people are
One
gonna
of
people
my
gonna
favorite shows.
always. Hmm,
What was you
go
saying?
ahead. I said people
I
gonna
was going to
always
say
care
one
about
of
the
my
fancy
favorite
stuff more.
shows, half and half. I would say one of my favorite shows, half and half. The girl Mona, she worked. She was like an A&R for a Black radio station, not a radio station, but a Black A&R music, like a music label. Like it was a
Mhm.
fiction, but the woman who was her boss was a Black woman. So there's always been representation. I've always
Martin
said that. It's just I feel like people need to look for it thoroughly.
Martin
What in the house? LL Cool J owned a fucking gym, and it was him, Kim Wayans, and Maxwell Stanton, aka
Mm-hmm.
Carlton Banks.
Um,
But, yeah, I was about to say that but people always gonna care about the fancy stuff more because they can market that to more places and people.
hmm.
Like not just domestically but globally.
Okay.
Because a Marvel movie is gonna beat any type of Tyler Perry type of movie or any like realistic movie that they're gonna make. That
Yeah,
goes.
but at the same time though, but like so I hear what you're saying, but like if you remember when the MCU initially started, right? And I'm more specifically talking about like I want to get into like when Captain America Winter Soldier came out. That movie to me was like the perfect balance of striking a chord with diehard hardcore comic book readers and the casual market because they broke it down to the point where the action sequences can be dissected and not even dissected, can be like viewed by a casual person and be like, yo, these characters are fucking cool as shit. I want to look at them some more. And then at the same time, it's the Captain America that we know and love. It's the fucking Winter Soldier that we know and love. Like the way they portrayed Winter Soldier in that movie was fucking masterful because you really didn't know anything about the nigga except for what they told you. And then on top of that, you also had to watch movies like Captain America: The First Avenger in order to get the full context, right? So when it came to that shit, like the casual viewer had to fucking pay attention to the movies first and fucking foremost, and then on top of that, it was still different enough for like the hardcore comic book reader to be like, oh, okay, this is these characters in a new perspective, right? But as you
But
notice, like
still,
they didn't have to change Bucky Barnes' race. They didn't have to change his sexuality or none of that shit. He was just fucking Bucky Barnes, right?
right.
That's it. So it's like these other movies and these shows and shit like that. Like you're literally trying to reinvent the wheel when you don't need to. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
they're
Just
doing
let
that.
that
They're
shit.
doing that for like for their own. Oh shit, my
Yeah,
bad. They're doing that for their own reasons and purposes though. Their own agendas. That's why they're doing that shit. They know they don't have to do that. Cause the
You
Mario
mean
movie
like
proved
Fortnite?
that shit.
hmm
The, the Mario movie proved that shit. Like Miyamoto, the Miyamoto guy that made Mario, like they was about to woke that shit up. They was about to SJW the shit out of that movie, but he was like, "No, I need y'all to keep them the way they are, generally speaking, because Nintendo's they're very like protective of their IPs,
Yeah.
so
Speaking
they
of
didn't allow
motherfucking Nintendo, did y'all hear about the shit about the dude that like he has to pay Nintendo 30% of his salary for life?
20 to 30, yeah, for life because he was a part of something where they was hacking
Yeah,
and selling like free Nintendo shit, not no selling Nintendo stuff, yeah.
Mm,
nigga, ain't nobody more pettier
And
than
he,
Nintendo.
and he already like 50 something, 51 or 52 or
Yeah,
something.
Nintendo is
And he,
petty.
yeah, he gotta pay. He
Yeah,
has to pay 40 mil.
they had a
mm,
chance to become like years ago when like the next generation systems are coming out. They had a chance to become. They were going to be called the Nintendo PlayStation
Yup,
with
bring it out.
Sony, and Nintendo was like, nah, I don't think so.
Nah.
Nah,
And
we
then
got
PlayStation's like,
this.
all right, okay.
And PlayStation was like, you know what? We ain't even gonna part with no one. We'll just do it ourselves. They put a Thanos, and look where they are now.
Bruh. And then four
And they're
consoles
like,
later.
yeah, and they're the ones that are like, they're the only ones they're like, fuck these CD shit. Just stick it with cartridges. And I'm like, yeah, Nintendo. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and the big advantage about CDs at the time is that they can fit a lot more shit into it. And then
Mhm.
not only that, but like the
They still can.
PS1, yeah, and then not only that, but the PS1 at the time had a really fucking good sound system. That's why when you play a lot of PS1 games, you get to hear like real live music.
Oh
Like the
wow.
music, yeah, like for example, Wu Tang Clan had a game, right? Wu
yeah.
Tang Clan legitimately had a game for the
He had a
PS1.
fighting game.
It was a
They
fighting
had a
game and it
fighting
was an
game.
album at the same time.
Hmm.
It's actually pretty okay. I ain't gonna say pretty good. It was pretty.
Yeah, it's not the best game, but it's a video game.
Yeah, it's a bit okay. I just like playing this old dirty bastard. That's just me. That's
I like playing as Ghostface.
Ghostface is fucking OP. Don't- but shoot, yeah,
I got,
that
I
that
got, I
sounded
got to emulate
pretty
that
okay.
joint because I haven't played that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But but they stuck to the source material with that Mario movie as people understand the characters and the movie's making fucking 600. No, it's about to make 1 billion
it was about to
actually.
make a
Yeah.
billion.
So they know they don't have to do that shit. They like to pretend like they do, but that's because they wanna do their little artsy fartsy thing and turn it into their own creation.
Honestly, I think it's wild that they really tried to like wokeify it because it's like, bro, it's fucking Super Mario Brothers. That game in itself, by its own standard, is already woke as shit. Like, bro, like you have Mario and Luigi, Princess Peach. Like, first of all, the Mario Brothers are short as fuck. And then there's already a implied romantic relationship between Mario and Peach. We'll never fucking know for sure, of course, but it's like heavily implied because Mario keeps having to save this woman. So there has to be some type
Like
of like, you know what I'm saying? So
it's super heavily implied. They had a Mario Party 5 where it said where you would have like Mario and Peach on teams, it'd be like the cutest couple, and then if it was Luigi and Daisy, it would be long time honeys or something like that.
I
yeah, I
They
remember.
they
remember that.
they implied that joint. They've been implying that shit for a minute.
They've been playing that shit for a minute, but now don't you find it very interesting that like you have that dynamic, and then on top of that, like if they would have done anything to change anything about that shit, everybody would have now watched that movie. You feeling what I'm saying? Because it's like,
Yep.
yo, why the fuck is Princess Peach look different? Why the fuck does Mario look different? Like,
True.
no,
Oh,
first of all,
they was kind of mad when they saw her in that the motorcycle suit.
But I was like,
oh,
y'all ain't play Mario Party? I mean Mario Kart?
Mario Kart,
No,
like,
because she's in a motorcycle suit in Mario Party.
She's in the most like suit in the game.
But I was about to say Mario fans do that, but there was a lot of people who was just like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" I was like,
what the fuck do you mean? What the fuck is this? Do you
"You
really
never
expect
seen
me
the
to just be wearing that dress?
South
You
What
just
the
before?"
fuck
want
is
to
that?
complain, yo. There's
And
one
then
ton to
not only
complain
that,
about.
but you also need to know that Princess Peach got a body under that fucking gown.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
I don't know, fuck. Yeah, I don't know. People at that point, people are just complaining just to complain. People do
Yeah,
that a
it's
lot.
people who don't know about the IP, so they just take anything. Everybody's looking to call something out these days.
You gotta think piece everything.
It's funny. All the people that's complaining and call out shit can't even call out their bank account number.
What's my
Mm,
routing number again?
mm, hit him when it hurts. Hit him.
Hey, bruh.
All right. Any last word before we give our final thoughts?
But yeah,
Um,
they got your man. They got your man Bubbles, the FBI agent on Lilo and Stitch. They replaced him with a woman and a light skinned one at that.
a light skinned woman.
Light skinned Hawaiian woman, yes, something. I don't know exactly what ethnicity she is, but she's
She was Hawaiian. She was Hawaiian.
yeah, light skinned Hawaiian woman, and I'm like, what is the purpose of this? What's
We
the
need to be
meaning of
aggressive.
this?
I don't know. At this particular point in time, I just think it's people have having childhood fucking fantasies, and now they get to just put them in. You follow what I'm saying? Because with all their
Hmm.
life, they were never the main character. So, in every opportunity that they can, not that they older, they're gonna put themselves at the main fucking character. It's like that one Indian girl, Mindy, does. That's why she had that fucking
Velma.
Scooby
I
Doo
was
shit,
just thinking Velma.
Oh, you talking about the Velma joint?
the Velma joint. But here's the thing, though. Here's the really hilarious thing. She has like other shows, right? Like the Mindy Project or whatever the fuck. And in
Hmm.
that show, she's basically a fucking simp for white men. I'm telling you, she's
True.
literally, bro. She's like 0-4 in the fucking show, and it's all white dudes.
She
Yeah.
kind of like that on Velma too, a little bit.
Yeah, and
It's like
and
that
she's
in the
supposed to be
office.
gay. Yeah, and bro, and she's supposed to be gay in Scooby Doo. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so, and then yeah, like in the office too. Yeah, they was talking about that too, and I'm like, oh, okay, so she just like she one of them type of Asian people where they want the white men.
Well, we knew that when he
Yeah.
decided to act like he was black just to get a scholarship.
Oh yeah.
Her
That
brother.
story is
Yeah.
still hilarious to me.
I had an inkling of what kind of family she came from. Just saying. They pretend to be a lot of different
Mm.
things just to fit in.
That's a real thing
Mm.
though, amongst like especially like Asian women, they don't fuck with men of their own race like that, especially if they in America.
Hell no.
Especially if they in
Yeah.
America, the
Right.
Asian dudes be having a hard fucking time.
Yo.
Which
Nah.
makes
So I'm sorry, but Clarence, I'm so glad you fucking brought that up because I just saw a video about how Chinese men in China had to. There's an app in China to teach men in China how to date.
aren't they feeling on wedding days, or is it another country where they're on the wedding day they'll go and kidnap the bride?
I
I
don't
don't
think
know
that's
about
right.
that.
Yeah, it's happening in China as we speak. Like they're
Really?
legit kidnapping women and making them wives. And they're
Hey,
I shouldn't be laughing, but it's yeah.
Sure, you're not
can we
talking about
squeeze
North
in?
Korea.
Yes.
No, I am not talking about North Korea. I read an
All
article.
right. So before our final thoughts, because I actually really wanted to talk about this because I thought it was very interesting, and the reason why I thought it was very interesting is because right now, as you can see, like things are, they're getting pretty like wild in today's society. So you see a society like China, already 1 billion people, right? And you remember they had that one child rule, right?
Yeah.
And not and but like the thing is it backfired on them because in their culture they wanted males more than females. So now there's a situation in China where there's more men than women, right? And then on top of that, like they're also kind of going low key going through like a financial crisis because a whole bunch of them put money into like the real estate game there. So you have a whole bunch of Chinese citizens that like work and build money just to invest in real estate, only for their shit to never get built. And there's so many orders that like the real estate got oversaturated, and now people are losing a whole fucking ton of money because now there's not enough like to develop everybody's land. And then on top of that, like yeah, everybody owns real estate, so now who's buying the homes? You feel what I'm saying? So like they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. So yeah, like everybody,
Sound
everybody has real estate because they want to make money, but now nobody like is
like
what's it called? Nobody's in buying those homes because everybody's investing in real estate. So it's like why
So
the fuck?
nobody's making money.
Yeah, so basically nobody's making money because everybody's trying to make money.
what the
Mm.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
So you have that dichotomy there, and then on top of that, you look at
well,
China because now they have a whole bunch of money. They're the second largest economy in the world. So now the women, they want that bag. You feel what I'm saying? They want that
Yep.
bag. So it's basically going to become another situation like in America, except in reverse. Because in America, there's more women than men.
mm-hmm.
So I just thought it was very interesting because that, like, going to an app in order to learn how shit that should already be instilled in you by like your environment. You feel what I'm saying? How you supposed to conduct yourself as a man? How you supposed to
Through
conduct yourself?
socializing.
Yeah, insecure about themselves because it's like, bruh, I have to compete with all these other dudes, and then on top of that, like I'm not. There's a chance that I might not be making a lot of money because the economy that I'm in, like families are valued, and if we want to be able to survive, if we want to be able to survive the way we want to, we need to have a sizable population to do the work, right? Because right now, the way it is, they're going to have a entirely large population of old people and not enough young people to take care of them. The same thing is also happening in South Korea,
Japan too.
Japan too. Yep.
A lot
Yep.
of countries. But
Yes.
I
Yeah.
found different articles that I was just talking about it. China's
Mhm.
bride trafficking problem. Teenage brides trafficked to China reveal ordeal. And then the mystery of the chained woman in China. Basically, she was being trafficked to be sold in remote areas like Yunnan and Sichuan
Mm.
provinces. So yeah, they have. Like I knew I wasn't going crazy. They're literally kidnapping other people's wives or soon to be wives.
That's
That's some
crazy.
wild shit.
Yeah, and actually, it kind of goes even deeper now because the one thing that you also have to understand about a lot of these Asian countries is not even just the demographics and not even the culture, but like the number one thing about Asian countries that you really need to pay attention to is exactly how they got to that position in the first place. Because they had to adopt capitalistic policies in order to build the wealth, in order to build the wealth, right? But now that the wealth is starting to dry up, you feeling what I'm saying? Because the U.S. dollar is kind of like declining right now. Now
Hmm.
they are the ones that have to pull the weight. So remember what I said earlier. There's a real estate crisis going on over there. As a matter of fact, like there was a whole bunch of protests in China because a lot of people were not getting money, right? So now you have this thing where the US dollar is declining and they're going to have to like step up if they're going to become like the world reserve currency, or at least because the United States dollar is the world reserve currency. So now what happens if there's a second and there's a third and there's a fourth? Are we going to go to war because America doesn't want to share, or is it going to be a mutual thing? And we all know it's not going to be a mutual thing because Russia and China been buddy buddy. So like there's wider conversations to have about the fact that a lot of these men, they're not really getting wives and they don't got it like that. But then again, what's the female perspective? Because this is the male perspective. It's crazy shit.
I saw a video. It was talking about Japan though, and they
Mm.
was going around um asking people in the streets about dating, and they was asking the women. The women was saying that the guys weren't making enough money,
Ooh.
and on some hypergamous stuff, and then also they saying they're not very well socialized. That's what they were saying.
Mm. So it's
Oh,
just the
so it's
fact
not
that
a
a lot of them
Western
can't.
problem now. It's sort of kind of like a global problem now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it's a
global
global problem.
problem.
It's the first world problems, I would
Hmm.
say, because I don't think the third world, second world ones are having that problem. Not that I've heard of yet. Anyway, it's like
Interesting.
Japan, China, maybe Korea.
And just to say, there's nothing wrong with a woman wanting a man that like has money and shit like that. That was never the issue in the first place. I think the issue is just the like being realistic, because if you know that a lot of these men have to go out here and compete, you also know that there's going to be men that are they're on their path just building their way up, and like if you want to, not saying that you have to, but there is the choice that you can help a brother build. You just got to be very, 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 very careful, because you don't want to pick someone to build with and then all of a sudden they just leave your ass as soon as you know they
Right.
you
Because
know yeah.
what comes with having finance and having the skill to pay the bills is that you get to choose a different selection from when you was broke, especially if you well kept.
Hmm.
Like say for example, if I get into some money, my selection from the women I could select right now then is going to be way different.
But then, so then let me ask you. So then, wouldn't you just be? So then, like, wouldn't that just be saying in a way that you can buy these women because they're only really available to you because you have that money. And then on top of that, like these are women that look really good. It's not like these women are ugly. You feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So if
yeah,
they're used
but
to a particular type of lifestyle, then they're gonna want
mhm,
that money to accommodate that because they have to look good constantly.
mhm. Yeah, well, like you can like some people can get those girls in their coming up stage, but they're
Hmm.
not going to stick with you because you don't have the finance, or you
Honestly,
taking too long to get to where you're trying to get.
yeah, honestly,
Cause
you're
some,
just
cause
gonna.
some women, when some women have actually told me that I need to get if I got a better job, I'll be a much better prospect,
Mm, damn.
and I've been dismissed because of that.
See, yeah, and that's the truth. But the thing is,
Mm.
multiply that by 1 billion people, though. Then what?
Mm.
So then what happens if like everybody gotta be like that? So then, bro, that's gonna also be grounds for a societal collapse too, because then maybe the women will probably go find it elsewhere.
True, true. Yeah, because they'll go overseas or something like passport bros.
Yeah.
Did you didn't make that story up, did you?
About what?
About the girl saying you would be a better perspective if you had more money.
Better prospect? Yeah, yeah.
That's not a fake story. That's a real
That's
story.
not a fake story. Well, it's been more than one.
Crystal's
Oh,
like,
oh
hell.
no, these girls is wild. These girls be
Wait,
wild.
oh God. I'm okay. That just pissed me off. And
Now, I just want you to know your silence was loud as fuck just now.
no,
So
because
wild.
having money is not going to make a strong foundation. The foundation is based off of the fact that he actually has you emotionally, mentally. If you're pushing a fucking baby out, he'll be the one to make the best decision for you, like shit like that. But because he has whatever you consider not big enough money, that's him being a prospective guy. Because there's men out there that I can tell you. I had one guy say, "Oh, I can buy you a Lamborghini." What the fuck is that going to do with my mental health, you piece of shit? You can't buy me. End the story. Because at the end of the day, if you can't give me your last, I don't want anything from you. Those
But
kind of men
Crystal,
are fucking rare. I don't understand this whole perception about money. Basically, you're saying I have a price tag, and if you can't pay for my price tag, you cannot buy me. And then when you get treated like the materialistic bitch that you are, then it's a problem. I don't fucking stop. Sorry, that just pissed me off.
but you'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than a Corolla, right?
I heard somebody say
Oh,
that before,
For
but it
most,
was on a podcast. I heard somebody say what you just said.
for most women, they rather get their ass beat in a Lamborghini than a Toyota.
Hmm.
You're still getting your ass beat though.
yeah, I was about to say, bitch, you still crying.
Like, yeah, you still crying. Is it really worth it? I mean, yeah, it's a Lamborghini. I'm like, bro, we're cooked. We're fucking cooked, bro.
They get to take his money when they get the divorce too.
Yeah,
No,
for what most people, the house all of a sudden becomes a cage.
no, I'm just pissed because I put in my time, and even though I'm divorced, I'm still getting basically every little thing that I want paid for me because of the kind of woman that I am. And right now I'm helping him look for his next wife. This is the kind of relationship that most people should have if they split ways. But even in the beginning, I worked at a job, I was like, yo, I can get you a job. Let's go. Let's work together. Let's be on the same schedule. It's called building with one another, so we can look back now and say, yo, we own two trucking business. He owns one, I own another one, and we're keeping it moving because we want each other to be successful, especially in the Black family unit. That's how it should be. His money did not make or break us. It was the fact that we both built together. So if shit goes down and we realize, hey, we're falling out of love with each other, counseling ain't working, but I'm still gonna have your fucking back. No one can break that foundation. So I don't understand why. Okay, that's why the dating pool has pee.
Yeah, it definitely has pee in it because a lot of these motherfuckers don't really understand that, like, yo, marriage is not just like, hey, we have a ceremony, we have a reception, and we consummate, then we have a honeymoon, now we're married. Like, that's not what it is. Like, it's a commitment. You feeling what I'm saying? You have to commit, just like the same way that you got together as boyfriend and girlfriend, and then you decided that you wanted to commit to each other. Well, yeah, this is the real deal now. You're going to be owning assets together. You're going to be owning businesses together. Shit is going to be on both of y'all's names. So you want to pick a motherfucker who's at least trustworthy, who you can depend on. There's way too many of you motherfuckers that have sex with people and use that as a fucking gauge to see whether a motherfucker's trustworthy or not. And that's why most of y'all end up being baby mamas and baby daddies and not husbands or
That's
wives.
that's weird.
It's weird as fuck, bro, and it's backwards as fuck because the kids get compromised more than anybody in that type of relationship.
Yeah, they the real victims
They're
in
the
those
real
situations.
victims, and we don't give a fuck because we got to get our nut off. And then you want to dress your little son or your little daughter up as your little mini me. Why are you dressing them up as you? You're a failure. You're like, what you mean I'm a failure? I got money. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Any last words before we get to our final thoughts?
Yeah. Thank you for letting me interject that because I actually really wanted to talk about because it was so interesting to me. And I'm actually going to do more research on it because I want to get into the psychology of exactly why this is happening in a country like that.
I'm glad I'm able
Hmm.
to help you out. That's it. With that, we're gonna get into our final thoughts, and I'm gonna actually start with you, Shining Wolf.
I think I said everything I wanted to say. So I'm gonna pass it on to Father.
Okay. Uh, D Wolf is on you.
I just got a quote. The work we do on ourselves becomes our gift to everyone else.
I like that.
Nice.
I like that a lot. Crystal is on you.
The only thing I have to say is when it comes to resources, resources is as only as good as the way that you use them for yourself. Everybody's resource and everybody's tools will be different for what they need, but if you don't know what you need in your life, anything will be everything and you won't know where to, how to use, to utilize, how to be authentic in everything that you do. So you'll end up building a fake facade of a lifestyle that you think you want just to realize in your older age that everything you did was not worth it. Be authentic. Don't think that money rules everything because it doesn't. And just follow your intuition, not a trend or what you think a man or a woman should be in your life.
Hmm.
That was good. Is that it? That was good.
Yeah, that
Father is on you.
Um, yeah, for my final thoughts, I just want to say, shout out to black people. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to God's original people. And I also want to say 2/3 of y'all are fucking getting destroyed. And I can't wait for the day
is why
that,
Baltimore on this.
bruh, I'm just saying 2/3 of y'all gotta go because y'all are as useless as the pee in pneumonia. That's all I'm saying.
God damn.
Right. I just want to give a shout out to my Nigerians because I actually got that from a Nigerian today. He said that shit and I disintegrated and I'm like, I need to steal it. So shout out to my Nigerian brothers and sisters.
Yo, Father with the Umar Johnson. Some of y'all going to sleep. For good.
For good. Bruh, nigga, I need that day to happen like soon because bro, we're getting like because my thing is, when it comes to black people, we have to take our shit seriously. I'm so tired of niggas fucking playing and niggas fucking doing stupid shit when you know that your people have been disenfranchised for 400 years. What the fuck are you having fun for? You feeling what I'm saying? Like, bro, your kids, they're getting miseducated. You know what I'm saying? You barely have enough money to make it with with the two jobs that you're working. You got to work two motherfucking jobs, and you haven't really been receiving the education you could be using this to change your life. Instead, you got to go to a motherfucker on YouTube that tells you, "Hey, everybody, you use this, use that," and then you're like, "Yeah, I am this, I am that," and then you go try and do it, and then you fail every time because you never developed the discipline within yourself. Like it's get, you know what? I say I talk a lot of shit and I also listen to a lot of shit. But at the very end of the day, it's up to us as individuals to be the change that we want to be. And if you are not trying to raise the consciousness of your people, then, bruh, like I said before, you are as useless as the P in pneumonia. And that's my final thoughts. Thank you.
Uh, I couldn't say. Oh, so my bad. Something just popped up. But shoot, I've actually don't got anything to say except that Rock Lee should have beat Gara, but that's just something just.
Now that you said that, I also want to say Neji's death was bullshit and it needs to be overturned. Bring that nigga back to life because the way he died was some bullshit. I don't even care if he just appears in the next scene. Just bring him back.
Maybe in a few,
Like,
maybe in a
how-
few years when they do a reboot.
Yeah, like how are you back? And I'm like, yo, everybody said my death was bullshit, so I'm back.
I always
Just do
call
that.
him the realest nigga in the Hugo clan. In the
He had
Lee
no
clan.
choice but to be the realest nigga. You saw
He
what
was-
he had to deal with.
Yeah,
Yeah, Neji was like, he was my mains, especially in the games and shit that he was in. I was mad when they killed him.
Yeah, now
you.
now he in the grave for no
They
motherfucker.
killed him in Shippuden.
And then the nigga had the audacity to be like, because you called me a genius. And I'm like, what? I literally screamed when I saw that shit. I was like, what? Because he called you a genius. Did you not see what this nigga just did? Bro, this nigga gave everybody in the fucking Ninja Alliance chakra. And you dying for him because he called you a genius.
I think that's one of the moments in animes that's pissed me off the most. Up there with Death Note ending. I still think that's one of the worst. I love that anime. I still think that's one of the worst endings, and I would die on that hill.
that
Uh,
in Claymore.
Neji, yeah, Neji getting killed. That shit pissed me the fuck off because it's just like
There was
that
no
death
reason.
could have been preventable. What
There was
else?
no reason for it.
Clementine getting bit in fucking Walking Dead. That shit pissed me the fuck off, and I almost cried on that one. So but that's and, and what else? It was something else that pissed me off too. Goku giving Cell a Senzu bean. That shit. I don't give a damn that did push the story. It was for Gohan to reach his next level.
Goku's like, they had Goku acting irresponsible as hell in that show.
My theory is I still think Goku could have killed him. I don't care. I still think Goku could have killed him.
I don't think he wanted to. I think he wanted Gohan to do it.
Y'all need to remember that Goku hit his head really hard.
That's very true though.
That is very true.
He was young.
But I'm still
His skull probably wasn't even shaped properly yet.
Honestly, but that's the reason why they're a warrior race, because they've really never been that bright. Even Vegeta, like Vegeta was raised as a prince and he was sheltered in his whole fucking life. And then not only that, but he was actually taught to use his powers for evil. Remember when that nigga first had a family? That nigga was never there. He was either training or when Bulma would nag at him to do something, he'd be like, bro, just take care of the child. Like, why you bothering me? That was Vegeta, bro.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part. Yep. Until
Yeah.
until he had a daughter. Then he started being that was GT.
Yeah.
That was GT
Yeah.
though.
That's when he started being a father.
Mhm.
You see him, saw him driving her around and buying her clothes. He did none of that shit with Trunks.
Yeah, I know.
I think Trunks is probably the smartest Saiyan.
Well, not until he came back. Like after he died, when he sacrificed himself in the Blue Saga.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
Because then when he came back, he started to like, okay.
Yeah, then he started like open up more. And then when Bullet was born, that was it.
Yeah.
Like, yep, that's daddy's girl,
Mm-hmm.
daddy's little princess.
Trunks who?
But yeah. On that note, I'm gonna end the podcast right here, and I would like to thank y'all for listening to hear us talk our shit again. This is You Know What? Let me just say podcast, and I am out. Peace.
Sign off.
Cheers.